Welcome back. This is APA Midday. We're here in Orlando, Southeast Psych, and today we have a special guest, one of hopefully several. This is Chris John Ferguson, who I like to call John, but he answers to Chris apparently.
I'll answer to either one. Okay. I'm flexible.
He is from Laredo, Texas, and knows a great deal about a topic very near and dear to my heart, which is video games. Tell us, what do you teach? What's your position?
I teach mainly psychology, forensic psychology, abnormal psychology, and classes like that, and do a bit of research down there, mainly on violent behavior and such.
Well, one of your interests and specialties is around video games and video game violence. Tell us sort of, where's your position?
Obviously there's a lot of debate about that in the research, but the answer more and more seems to be no. That there doesn't seem to be a lot of good evidence that kids who play violent video games, or adults who play violent video games, are any more likely to commit crimes or engage in serious aggression or bullying or anything of that sort.
Tell us some of the positives of video games.
One is there's a body of research that suggests that people who play, particularly the action games, like the Grand Theft Auto or Halo or games like that, may actually have better visual spatial attention and cognition, so they can actually process objects. And they make better engineers and better surgeons, even, they say. And I've actually done some work that suggests that people who play more violent video games actually handle stress better than those who don't, which is kind of interesting. That's correlational, but nonetheless, that's thrown out there. And I think the third thing that to think about is that there's more evidence that people tend to, or particularly kids, tend to play video games socially. Now, there's that old stereotype of sort of the the guy with the 4-day-old beard, and the Doritos and the Pepsi, playing in his basement with the the lights off, that kind of a thing. Yeah, we don't have a beard at least, so. But that doesn't seem to be true. It seems to be mainly people are playing socially with friends and family, and that's another myth about video game playing that I think we're busting as more data comes out. Yeah.
What advice, because a lot of families will tune into our shows, what advice would you give a mom or a dad or family in terms of how to set boundaries and limits for a kid in video games?
The big issue for video game playing, like anything, is in moderation. Now, there is no magic number, and I know that sometimes groups like the AA, American Academy of Pediatrics, try to come up with a magic number, but they're really just pulling it out of their hat, quite frankly. So it's hard to put a particular hour down to say no more than this, no less than that. It's really whatever each family decides is right for themselves and right for their child, as long as the child is meeting their other obligations and needs. Right. And the other thing I would say is that parents really ought to think about playing the games. One gives you more credibility to the child. It also lets you know what's going on with the video games. And it's a great opportunity to kind of meet the child where the child is and spend
quality
some family time. Exactly.
Dr. Ferguson, it's very, very nice to meet you.
It's a real pleasure to be on.
Where can people find out more information about you online? And
they can go to my website. It's pretty simple. It's www.christopherjferguson.com. So it's pretty straightforward.
And also check out his book on Amazon.com, Suicide Kings. It sounds really good. I'm actually going to get that book. It sounds really, really good.
Fantastic.
So thanks a lot, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.